The Math Revolution: Why Games Are Saving Mathematics Education. Welcome to the Math Revolution, the podcast where we're transforming mathematics from the subject students dread into the adventure they crave. I'm your host from Global Sovereign University, and today we're diving into something that might sound impossible: making math as engaging as your favorite video game. Now, I know what you're thinking. Math? Engaging? Those two words don't belong in the same sentence. And if that's your reaction, you're not alone. Millions of students, parents, and even adults carry deep wounds from their experiences with mathematics. The anxiety, the shame, that moment when you decided you just weren't a math person. But here's the truth bomb I'm dropping today. You're not bad at math. Math has been bad at teaching you. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus came to us in 6th grade believing he was stupid. Those were his words. "I'm stupid at school." He'd failed math the previous year. His teachers described him as oppositional and unmotivated. The system had labeled him, boxed him up, and was ready to write him off. Within 1 week, at Global Sovereign University, Marcus completed his first quest, the number detective, and earned his first skill badge. You know what happened next? He logged in the next day voluntarily to see what other quests were available. This kid who'd never willingly touched math homework was coming back for more. 2 years later, Marcus is an 8th grader who mentors younger students and plans to study engineering in college. What changed? Not Marcus. The math changed. Let me paint you a picture of traditional math education. And be honest, see if this feels familiar. You sit in rows, the teacher lectures, you take notes, you work through problem sets, you take tests, rinse and repeat. The pace is determined by a curriculum document written by a committee somewhere. Everyone's expected to learn the same material at the same time, in the same way. If you struggle, you're falling behind. If you excel, you're bored waiting for everyone else. If you make mistakes, they're marked in red and counted against you. The message is clear. Math is serious business. It's not supposed to be fun. Just memorize these procedures, pass these tests, and maybe you'll need this someday. Here's the devastating reality. Only about 40% of 8th graders in the United States are proficient in mathematics. Math is the #1 reason students cite for feeling anxious about school. Math anxiety, which causes real, measurable physical stress responses, affects millions and persists into adulthood. But here's what kills me. This isn't about ability. This is about methodology. Think about it. The same students who can't do math can intuitively calculate tips at restaurants, adjust recipes, manage budgets, analyze sports statistics, and navigate incredibly complex strategic decisions in video games. These are mathematical operations. The difference? Context, motivation, engagement. When you're playing your favorite game and calculating the optimal path to complete quests, that's optimization mathematics. When you're figuring out if you have enough resources to craft an item, that's arithmetic and inventory management. When you're predicting enemy movement patterns, that's geometric and algebraic thinking. You're already doing math. You just don't recognize it because it doesn't look like the math that defeated you in school. The crisis isn't that students can't learn mathematics. The crisis is that we're teaching it in ways that actively work against how humans naturally learn. So here's the game changer. Literally. What if we designed mathematics education the way game designers create experiences? Think about the last game you loved. Maybe it was a puzzle game, a strategy game, or an adventure. Now think about what you were actually doing. You were learning complex systems, memorizing patterns, developing strategies, solving problems. And here's the kicker. You were failing repeatedly and starting over without hesitation. You were doing everything we want students to do in math class, except you were doing it voluntarily, sometimes for hours. Games aren't magic. They're just designed based on how human brains actually work. Your brain is a prediction machine. It's constantly testing its understanding against reality. When your predictions are accurate, you get a dopamine hit. Not as a reward, but as a signal that your model of the world is working. When predictions are slightly off, your brain gets intensely curious. It wants to update its model. This is why learning feels good when it's done right. The aha moment isn't just a metaphor, it's a neurochemical event. Your brain craves this feeling. Games create conditions for this to happen constantly. They provide clear goals. You always know what you're trying to achieve. Immediate feedback. You find out instantly if your approach worked. Appropriate challenge. That sweet spot where it's difficult enough to require focus, but not so hard it feels impossible. They give you autonomy. You choose your approach. They show you mastery. You can see yourself getting better. And they often include social elements, collaboration, competition, and community. Here's the crucial insight. These elements aren't unique to games. They're fundamental to how humans learn anything effectively. Games just implement these principles more systematically than most educational experiences. At Global Sovereign University, we've taken these game design principles and applied them to mathematics education across grades 4 through 8, trade programs, and junior college. Instead of chapters and units, we have quests. Instead of tests, we have boss battles. Instead of grades, we have experience points, levels, and skill trees. Instead of failure being final, we have respawning. Try again with what you learned. But listen carefully, this doesn't make mathematics easier. Our students tackle problems just as rigorous as any traditional curriculum. The difference is they approach these challenges with curiosity instead of dread, persistence instead of resignation, and excitement instead of anxiety. Let me give you a concrete example. Traditional approach to teaching ratios in 6th grade. Teacher explains ratio concepts. Students work through problem sets comparing quantities. Word problems involve generic scenarios. Test at the end of the unit. GSU approach. Students undertake the Great Cookie Economy quest. They run virtual cookie businesses. They must compare ingredient costs using unit rates. They scale recipes using proportional reasoning. They calculate profit margins using percentages. They analyze sales data to identify trends. They compete in a virtual marketplace. The mathematical content is identical, but students are making strategic business decisions, not just completing exercises. When they need to understand ratios to make their business successful, they're motivated to learn. When they see their competitor using better pricing strategies, they want to understand the mathematics behind it. Or take our trade programs. We had twin brothers, Diego and Carlos, who'd failed algebra twice in traditional high school. They believed they weren't school smart, though they'd been building with their father since childhood. In our carpentry program, suddenly algebra made sense because they could see it in every project. Calculating compound angles for roof framing, trigonometry. Optimizing material cuts to minimize waste, applied mathematics. This wasn't easier math, it was more complex, but it had an obvious purpose and immediate application. Today, both brothers run a successful carpentry business. They use mathematics daily. When young people tell them they're not good at math, Diego says, "Neither were we. We just needed someone to show us that the math we were already doing in our heads was real math." The quest system works because it transforms everything. Problems become adventures with narrative context. Tests become boss battles you're excited to attempt. Mistakes become valuable feedback, not judgments of worth. Progress becomes visible through levels and achievements, and learning becomes social through guilds and collaborative challenges. Students aren't just learning mathematics, they're experiencing mathematics as it actually is. The art of solving problems, the thrill of breakthrough moments, and the satisfaction of mastering something genuinely difficult. So, what happens when you transform mathematics education this way? Marcus, who we talked about at the beginning, improved 2 full achievement levels on standardized tests. But more importantly, he stopped believing he was stupid and started seeing himself as capable. Aisha, who was always good at traditional math but didn't enjoy it, discovered mathematical modeling and now uses mathematics to analyze social issues she cares about. Emma, a junior college student with severe math anxiety who'd failed college algebra twice, not only passed but also discovered she actually enjoyed mathematics. She's now becoming a math teacher specializing in students with math anxiety, and entire schools are transforming. Jefferson Elementary went from struggling math performance to the highest performing school in their district, not just in test scores, but also in student engagement, teacher satisfaction, and parent enthusiasm. This isn't about a few exceptional students. This is about changing the system so that every student can experience mathematics as an adventure worth undertaking. Here's what I want you to understand. Whether you're a student who's struggled, a parent watching your child suffer through math homework, an educator frustrated with traditional methods, or just someone who's carried negative math experiences into adulthood, it doesn't have to be this way. The revolution in mathematics education is happening right now. Global Sovereign University is proving that mathematics can be engaging, meaningful, and achievable for everyone, not through lowering standards but through better design. We're enrolling students now in our middle school programs for grades 4 through 8, our trade programs in carpentry, welding, electrical, HVAC, and culinary arts, and our junior college mathematics courses. Visit civilizationbuilders.net to learn more. Check out our free quest templates. See what mathematics education can be when it's designed around how humans actually learn. Your mathematical adventure is waiting. The quests are ready. The community is here. The only question is, are you ready to level up? This has been the Math Revolution podcast from Global Sovereign University. I'm excited to be part of transforming mathematics education, one student at a time. Remember, you're not bad at math. Math was just bad at teaching you. But that changes today. Until next time, keep leveling up.